think that we're live. Hold on a sec. This is Painting Platinum, our first Saturday, and I'm Sadie. So let me see. I'm just navigating a few different things. Okay, perfect. So I'm here. You guys are here. Hi, Lady Dire Doggo, John David, Jetta Rose, Chav Hunter, Grumble Drum. So it's our first Saturday. I talked to Justin for a few minutes. He got me logged into everything and on the right track. So we shouldn't have too many problems. If we do, I told him I wouldn't bother him too much. And if we had to, we'd end early and correct it for next time. So that's all I've got. Let me go ahead and get my other cameras going. So, today, oh, I'm upside down. Hold on. Or not quite upside down. Not quite right. Okay. So, today I chose this mini. I literally walked around the raw metal area and I peeked in random bins until I found her. So, let me just pop out chat, move it over here. So I'm gonna prime this lady. I'm gonna look and make sure I got the mold lines. I'm sure I didn't. I pretty much only get them after I see them with a little paint on, which is maddening, but you know, whatever. So, this is, now I'm gonna forget. She is a bog witch is what it says. So I don't know about you guys, but when I got this notification, it said Ed and Dave like you've never seen them before. So I corrected it, but I don't know if it corrected. But that might be a fun surprise for someone. Let me see. I had it on my browser. Her name is Tiana Lise Bogwitch, and it is 03895. So I've only seen one painted version of this that I can remember just from searching. I would think a lot of kind of greenish colors and yucky colors. Hi, Valander. Let's see. Yeah, it did say that. Well, surprise, it's not Ed and Dave like you've never seen. Okay, so just going to, let me make sure this light's not too much. So what I was kind of thinking, because we're going to be using the Pathfinder paints, and if I'm not mistaken, and I forgot to pre-shake these, and especially the metallics are going to be pretty settled in, because I have not touched these. These are pretty much untouched for a long time. But, what did I do with that? I'm going to grab a tile. Maybe. Watch as I bring my office down around me. Live. Okay, so got my tile. Now these are some tiles that my grandma had around, so they have this kind of color streak throughout. Happy Saturday, Adam Ryan. And yeah, Blast Action. Yeah, she's got little abs. I think her little skirt goes up too high to do it, but I was like, I wonder if I can shade it in such a way that she has the like real lady little tummy pooch. Okay, so this is Brevoy Copper or Brevoy. A lot of these are probably going to have fantasy type names that I just am not aware of. But it's a really nice pinky copper. And I'm sure most of you have seen the wire wrapped crystals and stuff. So I think a lot of that is copper. So on her staff here, my plan was to use that copper. I'm not sure what I'll use for the gem. She's got kind of bandagey looking top and tattered weird cloak. It looks like the cloak kind of wraps around her neck. She's got high hair, a little bit of bangs, and it's long-ish in the back, and a stone base. So yeah, that's oh, good, Crowley Hamster. I'm glad you really like that. Sorry, hold on. My phone thought I was asking it to do something. Okay, perfect. So that's our Brevoy Copper. And on Bird with a Brush's stream where she swatched the RVE colors, she talked about how whenever you just kind of squish out or use water to draw out a paint, that's when you see the undertones. So, Adam Ryan's working on Reaper's Copper Dragon, Caphryxis, for an upcoming game. The Townsfolk box set. I had a lot of ideas for what I wanted to paint. There's so much. I don't remember what it was. Like the Kid Adventures, Children Adventures. I don't remember what it was called. There was a doctor, that Dr. Marcus Welby. Maybe that's not what it was. Maybe it was something else. Well, I lost that paper, so I guess it's not important. But I was like, oh, I could do a doctor, or I don't know. I wandered around a few different things. Oh, there's a wizard, something stargazer, and I think he's got a telescope. And I wanted to do that eventually. So, okay. She's going to be off camera for a minute just so I can look and kind of see what's going to mess me up. On this, I can't tell if she is holding something, if she has bandaged hands, or if there's something going on with this cast, this particular mini. But she's got a little coin pouch. She's got cute little ears. I was going to try and do a dark elf skin tone, but I haven't worked that much with the Pathfinder paint, so I'll have to really mess around with it. So I messed around with it a little bit last night and didn't really find a good, happy dark elf skin, but I bet I'll be able to. I'm trying to see if I might have chosen a really exposed mini. It looks like she got some crazy underboob going on. Yeah, oh well. It was literally kind of dark because I don't know where all the switches are. Where we keep the metal used to be long time ago, we used to have a room back there that was dinosaurs. It was all plastic dinosaurs that I don't remember if we sold for someone else. We certainly bought them from somewhere else. It's not like they were Reaper dinosaurs, but we called it the dinosaur room. And there's an old employee that, I don't know, he's kind of like an intimidating sort of character. And I had to spend all day organizing these dinosaurs with him. It was kind of a team building sort of experience. Not like Still not like crazy about this person, but it was something, you know. I really think it's good when you have a big place like this where so many people do different things to get people together. And even regular events like Christmas or Halloween, people get together, but they tend to still gravitate to their own departments. Um, I always thought it'd be really cool if we had like a field day where we had like competitions and stuff and mixed up and whatever. It'd probably be really uncomfortable for a lot of people, at least at first, but I think it would be so much better. Um, and it would help to fight against the dreaded they don't do anything. Like, what do they even do? They don't do anything type thing. Ooh, King of Hell, Book Jared says, or Book Jedi. Jesus, I was thinking Jedi Jared. So that is that. I did a primer. For better or for worse, it's that violet primer I made, but we'll live with that. She's got like a really cute kind of little bone structure if I can capture it. Like good cheeks, nice eyes. Oh, Graymail says, before lockdown, I was starting to look into adult summer camps since I don't have many friends. Thought it might be a fun way to make some. That's a great idea. Happy Saturday, Freestyle HQ. Um, I'm just thinking about going back to school. When I was in school, and it was community college, so it might have been like more my type of people, like misfits and whatever, and older, like kind of older people, misfits and whatnot. But I used to make the best friends. Like there was usually one or two people from every class I was in that was really really cool. Okay, so I'm trying to think of. I have a great example because my walls are uh, dusky skin, which is a gray with purple and brown. Um, so I've pulled a bunch of purples from the Pathfinder set. A lot of great pinks and purples. That is something I will say. I think that there is a color formulating style almost. Like we all love our own types of color. So that probably is why I look at these and I'm like, wow, these are really different from what myself or Anne would do. Yeah, exactly. Blast Action. Community college was a great experience. I feel like it was easy to make friends there. Exactly, Smaller Sam. And even, I do remember in the summer, a lot of kids were home from bigger colleges, and I'd meet some of them. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, we've got a couple whites and at least one black. Again, I didn't go too deep into this. By the time I finished my work, took a break, went back home, came back up here, it was already pretty late. So I thought, well, I'll do this while I set up, and I usually won't. Okay, so those are a few purples. There's other purples in there. I could have spent a whole episode talking about these colors because there are a lot of colors. Besmara black, Gauge gray. Don't worry about it. Skeleton white. Then, okay, here's our off-white. I really like Karen Stone. Is that how you say that word? Karen? John David speaks. That is a common situation. Went to community college. I worked in the radio station, and any of the crew who weren't on the air got together to play D&D. Oh, I love that. I love that. What else? What else? What else might I use? I feel like this Urgathoa red might come into play in making this skin tone. Okay, I found a couple more. There's a ton of pink and purple. I will just really quickly pull these pinks and purples because it's just great. So anybody that's ever we kind of pull away from pinks because they don't sell really well. So if you're ever looking for a pink, kind of check out the Pathfinder section of the website under paints because there are a lot of really pretty pinks, and I'll kind of feature these skin tones. One skin tone I know that Anne talks about that can be used with ebony flesh, or I think so, I've been told by people, viewers, is first I'll start with these, but this Mwangi brown, Khalid tan, Keonan beige, which is nice and warm and probably, unless I'm mistaken, the closest thing I can think of to the bright skin highlight, Osirian sand. These are kind of skin tony ones, assuming that I haven't lost one. So I've had these floating around in my office for over a week. Okay, here's my other white, unicorn white. I've been telling people get into that. Cannabis is kind of the next big thing. And it's nice to see, like, I've heard that a lot of ladies have gotten into being business owners in the cannabis industry. So it's kind of cool. And I'm really impressed with everything being pretty safe. I was concerned about, like, being a child with anxiety. I know if I would have stumbled across some kind of edible and eaten it, it would have pushed me over the edge of insanity, I'm sure. So I'm glad that it's being treated like medicine. It's got warnings and it's in child-proof packaging and whatever. Though I do have a friend in a legal state whose mom accidentally got into some Sour Patch Kids and had a rough time. So, all right, this is our lady. Let's kind of mess with, okay, this is sort of dried, but you can see it's got like pinks and purples. It's really nice. Okay, so another thing I'll show is my giveaway. My giveaway colors are going to be the Barbara pink and also this nice, I called it a brass and I thought about using it for the Brinewind colors, but it's a nice never before released metallic. So let me just sort of unclog. Oh my god, I stabbed myself. Okay. Be really careful with pokey tools. I was not using one of the Reaper pokey tools. I was using a dental tool that's got quite a bit of curve to it, like this sort of business, and just very lightly stabbed myself, which is like the third time I've stabbed myself. So a few weeks ago, I stabbed myself with a scalpel, playing with acrylic, trying to make something that was black, gray, and white to display paint over for someone that they could wipe it off and they wouldn't have to paint primer on it over and over again. So I did one coat. It didn't really work, so I was going to scrape it off. I was using a scalpel and I stabbed myself then. So I had to call my doctor. It's been 10 years almost exactly since I got my tetanus shot, so I kind of wanted to get it. But at the same time, I was about to get my COVID shot. So I thought, I don't know. I just don't want to do anything different, kind of. So I looked it up. My doctor told me I was right on the cusp and I could come in. I looked it up, and some people say that when adults have um, tetanus shots, that it actually lasts a lot longer than when kids have tetanus shots, and it could protect. This is not medical advice. It could protect up to whatever, like 20 years. I don't know. So yeah. So that was my thing, and then I dropped a scalpel on my foot, like just dropped it, and that hurt really bad, and then I just stabbed myself again, and I thought I can't call my doctor because it's so awkward when they ask you why you're calling and you're like, I stabbed myself. Oh no, Valander. Um Only discovered there was film on the large side pieces that I had not removed. Oh, I hate that. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking about using this Karen Stone as a. I say that, but I wanted to make a dark elf skin tone. I mean, she is an elf. I found her and I didn't know what she was, and then I found her on the page by searching elves. So I don't really know. I really would like to. I would like to challenge myself and make a nice elf skin tone. Okay, so I'm gonna try. We might end up just experimenting with color. Sugathi Purple, 89536. Hi, Leaf the Nymph. So yeah, if I could stop stabbing myself, that would be great. And let's see. So I'll do a drop. So with paints, the Bones paints, for example, do kind of like to separate out. Their base is really kind of thick, and it's sometimes hard to get it all together. And if there's anything in the dropper, it won't mix in. Like the paint will be mixed in the bottle. So if I want to put paint here, I'll drop it out here first just to make sure. I'm kind of interested in investing in one of those mixers. Are they called Vortex? I think I want a mixer because I have a messed up wrist. We'll start with this, but I'll need something else. Have a messed up wrist, and it hurts to shake paint, which is a bad sign. It's not great. And then I'm going to start using my wet palette I made. Somebody on the Reaper Facebook group, if you didn't watch on Thursday, I showed this off. It's a little too like lipstick-y. Let me see if this light helps. Or taking this light off helps. Nope, it's on. This is the one bad thing about Saturdays, is that means I will not be going to the new studio, and I will not have somebody else to put in charge of my color settings and such. But it just didn't work out that way. It was like every Thursday there was just something wrong. And I'd be dealing with it on Friday. And sometimes it wasn't even like it was any big deal, but somebody thought it was a big deal. So I just want to be super, super helpful and be really there for them. Okay, so if you didn't watch, I found, this was somebody suggested it on the Reaper Facebook group, but I found this mask holder, and I don't have these sponges here anymore, but they're, what did they call them? Magic Swedish cloths. And they're those sponge sheets and parchment paper. Exactly. See, that's what I'm thinking. Freak the cats out. But yeah, so I'm going to use that today. I ended up getting sidetracked last time and I didn't use it. Oh, one of the colors I really like is the Mano Waste Gray. I might try and use that in our elf skin tone we're playing with. I hope my color gets a little better as I start painting the lady over the gray background rather than this white shiny thing. It's just one of those things we'll work through. And another good thing about this is I can leave it set up Friday night, and I can go home and come in a little late Saturday morning and do what I need to do, and it just like won't cause a fuss. I still don't know if I would call that. It's a little bright still. So if it's a little bright on the red purple side, then I want to go greenish yellow muted. So, and I really don't want to take the purple out. So let's just do a muted green. This is going to be like a 4-color mix, which isn't great. And I hope I remember what's in it. Let's put that aside right now. So you got the purple, Mana Waste Gray, Mwangi Brown, and Boggard Green now. For whoever didn't see on Thursday, I pulled the move that where you just squeeze to try and unclog a paint, and I exploded it. Yeah, it is Saturday. It's Saturday. I just mean like on a week to week, not this Saturday, because this Saturday's already started. And it's just been such a busy week. I usually don't get stressed out, but it's I've just been kind of stressed out. So I think today when I get finished, I'm gonna get in my car, and I like to just get in the car and drive around and like do nothing in particular and wander. And I think that's what I'm going to do today. Makes me feel good. I think it's a little bit of novelty that gets my brain really happy. Look at houses. I really like houses and buildings. I really like nature, but I don't see a whole lot of nature. I usually go to downtown Fort Worth. Downtown Fort Worth is my favorite get in the car and dick around kind of place. And a lot of people don't get it, but the more I've talked about it as like a dirty little secret, they're like, oh yeah, I do that. Oh, and I can do giveaways. So for every 5 subs, we're going to give away that brass color I was talking about. So that was going to be Brinewind Brass. And still maybe one day. I'm not sure. With things like that, it just didn't make it into the Brinewind set. I had a lot of colors that didn't make it into the Brinewind set. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is now live. You can now buy the Brinewind set. So maybe that'll kind of be the precedent, is that they'll get more packaging, and by ReaperCon you can buy the RVE set. I'm not sure. Thanks the Hatter. But for now, that's what it is. I'll be sure and mention, a lot of people have come to me and said, maybe mention the option of buying the RVE colors in plain packaging, just like 6-packed in boxes or whatever, and I'll mention it. I don't see them doing that, but I could be wrong. So that's pretty cool that we're getting that finally. It still might be a little pink for what I'm looking for. But that is okay. So this is really morbid, and this is, I guess this kicks off I shouldn't say this segment, but like, thanks Book Jedi. I've always, wondered if people that do makeup, like mortuary makeup artists, use pink base. Because, as a total amateur, not even amateur, just like layman, that's what I would do. So I love Grapevine. Grapevine is one of mine. Arlington is great. I've heard that Arlington is the best kept secret suburb because of the beautiful hills. So maybe I will. But Grapevine is one. And for most of my life, I've gone and sat by the lake a lot in my free time. I should write that down. I need to, especially if I'm not going to finish today, which let's face it, I'm not. I'm just going to go in and get the little spots I missed with a little 2-aught. I think it's a 2-aught brush. 8508. It's got a weird, looks like Harry Potter glasses. But I think it's a 2-aught. Oh, it's a 10-aught. I saw 10-0. It's a 10-aught brush. The only thing I've ever heard about that is, I don't know if y'all know who Theo Vaughn is, but Theo Vaughn does this, he does this podcast, and within the past few months, he did this podcast with a mortician, and he said that they pump this stuff in people, and sometimes they use different colors, and I think they can use a pink one. It was super funny because he asked this guy. Theo Vaughn is like hilarious and off the wall. He was on, and if you don't know him from his podcast, I think he's been on Joe Rogan. I think he's in that kind of little circle. He was on Road Rules, I think in the 90s or early 2000s, and he's just like this kind of weird guy. Probably weird without trying. He seems weird without trying, as somebody who's also weird without trying. Someone who also suffers from that affliction, weird without trying. Yes, Stock of Flock of Flame. We are now doing Paying Platinum on Saturdays so as to not interrupt production. So I can be there with my people. People can come to me and ask questions, and that sort of thing. I think I come off as being kind of probably ditzy, but I've worked in the department for about 10 years, give or take. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with the paint department. I kind of know how things work. I know what'll happen if X or Y doesn't get done, or how big of a deal it is if something pops up. So I don't tend to worry about most things, but if I'm out of the department and something pops up, it tends to seem like a bigger deal, or become a bigger deal than it actually is. So it can just cause a lot of stress for other people, other managers, and we don't want that. We just want it to be cool and chill. Chill and cool, please, please, please. So this was my solution, and I'm a little sad some of our people won't be able to watch on Saturdays, but so far this has been the most peaceful setup I've ever had of a stream. Nothing's really popped up. I mean, obviously nothing's going on, but nothing's popped up. Really chill. Was able to kind of slowly move through everything, take care of my plants. It was just a really nice laid back day. I know it. I'm sure we will eventually, but I know that Justin does not want to do a 6-day work week, and I can't blame him. I really hate that I even had to have a call with him today, but in the long run, it's going to be so much better because yeah. So I'm going to continue to do my work in here, in my office, rather than in the new studio, which prevents a lot of stuff. Like, it would be if we were talking about setting up the studio, it would seem like I'm just effing off with Justin and I'm not working. And it's not like that, it's just something that needs to be done. Oh, Pendrake, I work every day. Not necessarily here, but I'm always working. My not New Year, but maybe my birthday's in July. So maybe by my birthday, I've decided to take all the extra time that I'm usually up here and invest it in myself, either through learning something new, like learning a new skill, or maybe I'll go back to school for something. I'm not sure what it is, but I would like to get a life. That'd be great. I do love it though, and it's really not bothersome or stressful. It's just that I have this fantasy, if I come in on the weekend, I'm gonna finally get the department caught up, and it just never happens. And I sort of feel like, between the normal work week I do and whatever I put in on the weekends, not too much extra gets done for the effort and the drive and the whatever. But to answer your question, this isn't really work. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've got to set up the monitors and the computer and everything. But past that, once I get started, it's pretty fun. So I have a nice pink lady. And I want to tone it down, so I might do some kind of gray glaze. Oh, spam risk. I have been getting calls for 2 days straight, all day, that are spam calls, and it's driving me crazy. I hardly ever get legitimate calls, which is fine. I'm over it. Oh, thank you, Pendrake. It is 1 part each of these. It's 89515 Boggard Green, 89538 Mwangi Brown, 89536 Sugathi Purple, and 89544 Mana Waste Gray. And I think it turned out so pink because these are both pink. This isn't just like a straight gray. Let me see. It's like a nice pink gray. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, Fraley. So yeah. Or I could do a green gray glaze. Maybe this is the one I'll finally try a tattoo on. I think I saw Anne talk about a tattoo thing, and that you glaze skin tone over the art, the line art, or whatever you do. Let's see what I did with my glasses. My little readers. I tend to put things in my lap, and then when I get up, they all fall down. Oh, goodness. Oh, well. Herm. Something. No. Maybe I'll just squint extra hard. I do have my mag lamp, but it's in a bad place. Okay, let me do that. Hold on. Maybe I dropped them when I dropped my phone. I did. I was about to say I have like primate level toe pickup technique, but are humans just primates anyway? I can't remember. I think we are. I think we're primates. Yeah. Yay, readers. Indeed. I love readers. I didn't even realize my up close vision was bad. I've got all these wires. That's one thing I'll do next time is I'll make sure there's no wires on the floor. I've got a heating pad in my lap because I have it cranked down. I have the AC cranked down because it's hot getting set up and running around, and then I get cold when I sit. I always tell my people, I'm like, I'm going to freeze you out. It's going to get really, really cold. And I get it really, really cold, and it feels hot to me still because I'm lifting 5-gallon buckets all the time. And then I sit down to make a list or whatever, and it's awful. And I'm thinking, I hate that I do this to you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. Now I'm using my wet palette. I like a wet palette. I can't use things fast enough before they dry out. And I don't know how other people do. Like, I know Anne always used a wet palette. I never saw her use a wet palette. And it must be like thinning the paints. That sure isn't perfect, but that's okay. At least this way, I'll have a little highlight around the eyes so that when I go back and glaze and highlight, that will create just some dimension, some contrast. And I did not mean to pick out a Minnie with such a revealing outfit, but it does look like she's got these bandages and just a little bit of underboob going. Hi, Nomad Zeke. Um, yeah. Okay, so CMDR Tomasov says, may I ask what a wet palette is? So a wet palette is just, it's something you can make really inexpensively. I talked about it. I've got this mask case with sponge material. They call them, I ordered them on Amazon. They're called the Magic Swedish Cloths. And it's just like a sheet of thin-ish, like about like that thick sponge that you put a little bit of water on and then top it with parchment paper and then put a little bit of water on top of that. And it keeps your paints wet enough to use them throughout the session. I paint really slow and I don't always thin my paints as much as I probably should. So it keeps them really, really nice, which is wonderful. If you'll see, like here, I mixed this and it's already like dry or at least grainy. So that's not great. But I do like to use something flat, like a tile, to kind of formulate and decide what I'm going to do. Okay, so here's my Minnie. I did her little eyeballs. Hold on. Little eyeballs. I could give her a modesty bonus. Um, I could do that. A chest napkin, as I've seen it called. I might as well. Or I could do a different color, like she's got a top on underneath. But for now, I will just do the color I was doing. The Cairn stone. I've only ever seen this word written. I remember it being in Pet Cemetery. That I think he had to like walk to the cemetery and build a cairn, which like seems like a, oh, what's it called? A like a little cairn. Oh, good. Cairn. Like a stone pyramid, maybe? Yeah, that's not bad. And maybe that is how it's meant to be. It would have to be if it were in real life. Or she'd have to have that fashion tape on. And then her boots look like that kind of bandagey type. Oh, they are. It's not boots. She looks barefoot. I think she's barefoot. I'm gonna do that focus thing again. Hold on. Yeah, I think she's barefoot with bandages. Kern, stone pile on top of a mountain. Oh, thanks, Casmania. Um, yeah, I'm glad. It's kind of like the first time I did it, I was like, I'll probably have two viewers to Justin, and he was like, no, just by being on the Reaper channel, you'll have more than that. Oh, not that. So, so yeah, I got my little bandages going. And I want to do some shadows, and shadows are typically cooler than whatever you're working with anyway. So I'll use purple. It marks the highest point. Usually mountaineers all add a stone so the pile grows over time. Oh my god, that's so neat. I love that. All right. So I took a little bit of this Aslanti Violet 89533. It's a very blue, kind of deep-ish purple. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably make my skin tone again. I might as well. So I took 1 part boggard green, 1 part Mwangi brown, 1 part Mana Waste gray, and now I don't remember what the 4th one is. I think it was this. I think it was this Kern stone. Oh, hi, Francis. No problem at all. Shoot. I'm surprised I'm not ever too late. Unless I've got a problem. Oh, no, it wasn't Kernstone. Kernstone. Stop. Okay, it was Sugathi purple. So. Oh, cool. Birdie Potter. Sugati. Yes. Thank you, Pendrake. Oh, you're so smart. Because I was like, well, maybe I won't forget it this time, but I will. I sure will. So, Birdie Potter, I am actually relatively a novice painter. I don't paint except for on the show generally. Sometimes I do, but generally I don't. And I started, around Thanksgiving a year and 3 or 4 months ago. So, what I started with is Reaper miniatures, Learn to Paint kits, the core skills, and then the layer up kit. They're made so you can kind of do either one first, but I would do the core skills first. And it's kind of neat that the lady that wrote it is Rhonda Bender, Bird with a Brush. So, that's that. So I did that. I did a few metal minis. I think I prefer metal, but I'm pretty sure that's just because that's all. Oh no, I ripped my paper. That's all I've known when I started at Reaper and whatever. This is different parchment paper than I'm used to using, but it's because I raided the, what's it called? The break room cabinet, and I'm sure one of our artists left it here. I'll have to replace it. I don't know how precise a drop is, but that is the unit of measurement that I am using. I'm pretty sure that Josh of Miniature Monday, he uses like his brush, like a brush full and whatnot. So that's good. I actually was able to match the original and got a new kind of browner one. So that's good. First bit, care, is in bear. Karen. It's not Karen. It's not it. Karen. So yeah, I'm kind of wading through learning to paint. Karen. Learning it, hanging out. I get advice from chat more often than not. And yeah, so that's that. So like now I'm kind of back to basics and trying to recreate the skills that were in the kit and go back through and do that. Thank you. So I make the paint for Reaper Miniatures. It's super fun. It's the best job in the whole place, in my humble opinion. I love it. Love it to death. Super good vibes. Really, really cool. And actually, when I think about learning something different, it sort of bums me out because I'm like, well, why would I want to learn anything when I've already got like the best job ever? Like, where am I ever going to find all the stuff I love doing? But I also feel like you should always have a backup because you never know. Things outside of our control are always bound to happen, and change is inevitable. And yeah. Oh, I've almost got what I was looking for. It's just a little brighter than I wanted. And it's by taking my brush and I took watered down Aslanti Violet in my brush and just kind of mixed it off to the side. And I'm getting closer to what I was looking for. So I'm going to use that as like my contour, my shadow on this lady. And I'm just going to follow her natural bone structure because it's real pretty. I think this is a Bob Ridolfi. I'll have to look and make sure, but I think this is a Bob Ridolfi mini, and he is so good. I tend to gravitate toward Bob Ridolfi and Julie Guthrie, and also, Sandra Garrity, who I don't think has done anything for us for a really long time, but when I just pick a mini, it's usually one of theirs. Okay, so I've done like a little purple contour. Oh, thank you. Pendrake, you're the best. Yeah, exactly. Well, everybody's on Entire Life. You never know what's gonna happen. a new cast of characters arrives and mixes things up. It's usually what they do on shows, right? Sorry, I was off camera a little bit. And I guess it's okay if the shadow is a little brighter than I want if I'm going to glaze over to sort of take the brightness down on all the colors. I wouldn't want it really, really muted and then to do a glaze to mute it and have it end up being straight up gray, beige, brown, mud. All right. And I still don't know. Hi, LT Floby. That's okay, Francis. I never remember the time for this or Reaper Live either because I always get in early. So for Reaper Live, I always get at 5:30, and for Painting Platinum, I try to get in at 2 and meet up with Justin at 2:30, and I end up talking to Justin and not getting much done from 2:30 to 3. So I have to plan to be almost completely ready. So I'm not going to use the metallic on my wet palette. I don't think metallic really likes water. For me, when I use metallic and water, I'll probably actually show it. I might as well. Valander says, earlier today, I woke up from a nap to find one of my house panthers curled up against my chest with his head using my elbow as a pillow, the top of his head curled up under my chin, and purring softly in his sleep. I felt so loved. I love that. Kitties are the best. I've told myself I won't get another kitty until I have enough money to do like whatever they need at any point. But I was thinking about kitties a couple days ago. As long as I just keep it like a happy little fantasy. Because I really do. Like, there's nothing that feels worse than not having enough money to take your pet to the vet. And I at least have a lot of support that loves animals. So I could be like, hey, I really got to take my cat to the vet and whatever. Yeah, they get whitish and they do something weird. So that's our Bright White Copper on our tile, which I'm using as a palette, and on the wet palette. So I'm just going to drop like a little bit in there. And yeah, it kind of grays out. You can watch it. It's kind of neat, actually. You can see the metallic flake kind of flow into the water. And it sort of grays out in a way. I think there's a way to use it with water, but yeah. Oh, and I should be securing this mini to anything and using sticky tack to secure it and not touching it, but I'm not doing that because I'm awful. Maybe next time. Because it really does make a difference. If you're constantly touching it, it rubs the paint off. It's not great. I've still yet to seal a mini, but I feel like there's a way. So I was talking to Ed about skin that looks like skin, and how in skin that looks like skin, there's a good, healthy mix of shiny versus matte. And he said that he had seen an artist, I don't remember who it was, unfortunately, but he had seen an artist, I think a European guy, do skin in a way where he had a flattener, some sort of flattening agent, and paint, and would use this flattener on his palette to create specific areas of shine and of mattness, and that it looked like skin. So I would like to do that with our sealers, like the matte sealer and the gloss sealer. Kind of mix them together, blend them, the whole deal. So that is so pretty. That is a really, really pretty color. Oh, Ant's advice with metallics is 1 drop of water only, like kind of like Sean Connery in Hunt for Red October, but with paint, not sonar pinks. Francis, exactly. Pet insurance is really good. You just have to never let it lapse. They don't pay for regular checkups or the medicines, but any health problems, injuries, emergencies, they have plans that will reimburse a large percent. Ooh, good, Pendrake. Yeah, I've heard that, and Anne told me, she was like, if you don't have pet insurance, to put away a little bit of money at a time when they're babies and they're probably not needing as much. And that way, as they get older, you'll have money put away for them. Stuff can happen, but for the most part, it's the elderly animals that start getting the problems. And you know what else? This is going to become my pet care show, and I probably already said this. So my cat had all these problems, but I think the biggest one that was bothering her toward the end was her teeth. And I didn't brush my cat's teeth. I must have known that people did because, at least with dogs, my grandma had a Yorkie, and Yorkies are kind of notorious for teeth problems. Probably all dogs, but Yorkies. So it's really funny. She brought home all these toothbrushes with, like, they already had toothpaste on them and they were in a package, and I didn't know what they were. So I started using this toothbrush and it was meat flavored, and I was like, oh no, I'm using a dog toothbrush right now. Like, I just thought that I had found the mother lode of pre-toothpaste loaded toothbrushes, and they were dog toothbrushes. But I looked it up because I was like, I love to torture myself and blame myself and feel guilty. So I was like, how often should I have brushed this 17-year-old cat's teeth, especially when I was a teenager? And it said like once or twice a day. And I was like, oh dear God, I've let her down so bad. She probably wouldn't have let me. She was like, she wouldn't even let me look at her teeth. But yeah. Like, I didn't really know what they looked like. I would try and sneak up on her with my camera and, like, take a picture right as I opened her mouth. Like, she'd never bite, but she'd be like, not into it, which I understand. I don't want anybody in my mouth either. So I have half a mind to use a little bit more of this color around her little coin or spell component pouch. I think it's a coin pouch. But I don't think that's what would be wrapping her little pouch there. And it looks like, I don't know how it attaches. And then we have a crystal, a little stone at the top. And I would kind of like that to be, I've been really into this stone for a while. I think it's called celestite, but I don't remember what it actually is. It's like marketed as celestite, but it's something else from a specific area. Valander says, my cats are incredibly healthy. To date, the only medical emergency any of them has had was when Ralph damaged a front tooth and they had to get several teeth pulled from resulting infection. Poor little honey. Regular feral cats don't have anybody brushing their teeth. Tigers don't brush their teeth. That is true. I will use that as a don't feel so guilty, whatever type situation. Most pets will not tolerate that. You have to start dental care, nail clipping, any other annoyances when they are too young to know better. Yeah. Yeah. And you'd have to be like a stay-at-home pet parent to get all that done, I would think. Maybe not. I'm going to use this Mwangi Brown for her little coin pouch. I don't know why I'm starting with random stuff, but I do tend to skip around a little bit. I was told that if a cat eats mostly dry food, their need for having their teeth brushed is nearly non-existent. I could see that. My cat ate dry food for a while, but when she was a baby to when she was like probably 14, she didn't eat a whole lot of it, and toward the end, she never ate it. It was, and the reason being is because it didn't seem like she wanted to eat the dry food that much, which is probably all cats. You give them I've seen it on Reddit, the wet TM. You bribe them with the wet. I think once they get on that wet food, they're not really interested in dry food as much. At least my cat. Now, the other cat I had, my little orange kitty, liked dog food and everything. She liked dry food. But I tried not to. I don't think dog food hurts cats. I just think that it doesn't have what they need in it, according to what I've heard. But that cat food will make dogs fat and unhealthy. Because cats need more protein and fat. Something like that. Oh, my cats refuse to eat the wet and utterly love the dry, but their treats are soft chews. My Tuxie eats wet for dinner, but he also gets dental treats. Okay, save the crystal for a later show. Watch Aaron Hartwell's crystal class on Zoom before tackling the crystal. Good idea, Pendrake. That's going to make me happier overall with the whole mini, I think. Details. Details are important. Okay, so we've gotten like a little bluish contour. We've got a skin tone down. I sort of want to go back and highlight after doing a glaze. Dog food has too much grain and not enough real meat. Cats are obligate carnivores. Dogs are only primary carnivores, so can eat grains. I don't know if I already read this, but Nomad Zeke said he's perfectly healthy despite being 18 pounds. He gets his dry food in the morning. I love that. My cat used to be fat because my stepdad wanted a fat cat, like really, really bad. So he fed her way too much. And it was such a pain in the ass to break whenever my mom and stepdad, like they had moved in for a while with my grandparents. And then I just stayed behind because I lived with my grandparents a lot and I wanted to. But when he moved out, I had to break her of it. And she always knew that it irritated the shit out of everyone if she would chew on plastic. Mostly because, like, that's not good for her. And you just can't, like, you can't ignore a cat eating something they're not supposed to. And try getting rid of everything chewable in the whole house. So yeah, she would chew on plastic, and that was her way of being like, I'm really wanting to eat, and I know you're going to feed me. She was right. It's not so much he's fat, just big. And when he lays down, he's not as long as a standard size bed pillow. I love that. I had a cat that was really, really fit until I got her fixed. And it must have affected her hormones or something because she put on a lot of weight. And she's the one that I let outside. And I wouldn't normally, but she was very, very mean. And most of the time I would watch her and I got a little too comfortable with it, let her play outside, and eventually she didn't come home, which is very, very sad. So I don't think, not that I would judge anybody that lets a cat outside, but I don't think I'll ever let another cat outside. With Ophelia, my older cat I just lost, I would let her sit on the porch with me because she did not want to go anywhere. But the other cat would wander a little bit. And part of it was my schedule. When I worked in the salon, I could go in a lot later. But when I started working more regular jobs, I'd go into work earlier. So when I worked in a salon, I could get ready for the day. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm doing her hair gray for now. I don't know if I'll keep it that way. When I get ready for the day, she could play outside. She'd love it. She'd be super stoked. I'd be right there with her. I could watch her out. My door it's a door to the outside and it has a big window. But yeah, I just got too comfortable. And yeah. What I was thinking about going for, since she has purple skin, is sort of, I don't know how many of you have watched um, Midnight Gospel, but I really love Midnight Gospel, and I really love Duncan Trussell. He's the at least partial creator of Midnight Gospel. All of the episodes are based on his podcast. And the style, I've seen a lot of people recreate it on social media. Let's see if I can find it. But I'll leave my lady like here. Oh, you can't even see that. Oh, I'm touching all over this. Yeah. Just don't watch. There won't be too much to watch. I was reading Squished while I said that. House Panthers are both black cats with gold eyes. Shinju is mostly white, easy to see at night when going to bed, but you cannot see the House Panthers, thus their alternate nicknames, the ninjas. Love that. Smoky gray tuxie, but still call him House Panther. 16, 17 pounds. Shinju is also very fit and is 11 pounds at 15 years old. CMDR Tomasoff says, we live in the English countryside. Our 2 male cats are out all night, every night, apart from when they don't like the look of the weather. They're always back in the morning for breakfast. I love that. Oh, Book Jedi. That was my favorite podcast. I still have not watched the episode, but that podcast, as mundane as it sounds, I had a horrible breakup when I was in my early 20s. And it was so uncomfortable. Just like sitting with your feelings sometimes is so uncomfortable. And in that, she talks about sitting with negative emotions. And I don't know if this was on the show, but it was on the podcast. Because obviously they're not going to have the whole podcast on the show. And there were 2 versions. My Mom Part 1 and My Mom Part 2. And the best podcast. Like if I could tell you the best podcast episodes, those 2. The best. And she talks about, she wants him to describe what he's feeling and presence, and actually being kind of present in my body and describe to myself what I was feeling helped so much. I don't know why. It just helped so much. So I always recommend it to people going through like anything, but it is a little rough. Like I've had people tell me there's no way that I could watch that or listen to it or whatever. I think they can, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Everybody's different. But the main character is Clancy. He's based on Duncan Trussell, and he has this, it's like a VR machine. Now that I'm looking at, the colors are much, much brighter. But he takes actual podcasts and, let's see, save. He takes actual podcasts, puts them into the episodes. So he's had guests like Ram Dass was on it, and Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew's this character called Glasses Man, and I think on that episode he mentions my favorite, and I don't even think it's Dr. Drew. I think it's just a mental health in general quote, but it's to meet reality on reality's terms. And it's one of my favorite kind of expressions. I think about it a lot. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can't add this image. Okay, this is Midnight Gospel artwork. And that's Dr. Drew up above the little squiggly. Like, let me see if I can't, like, interact with this somehow. That's Dr. Drew. And that's Duncan and his dog Charlotte. It's got all these people. Like I said, it's got what is her name? The California mortician. I don't remember what her name is. Really cool stuff though. Anyway. Oh yeah, so the reason I was going to look at it is he's got gray hair and pink purple skin and a purple hat. Oops. So I thought about using that. But probably won't because it's a little brighter than I wanted to go for with a bog witch. I would assume a bog witch would have kind of muted, spooky, whatever. Pendleton Ward. Yes, exactly. But maybe I'll still go with gray hair. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I was kind of thinking that or shiny black hair. So I used, just right out of the bottle, I used that Gojra Gray. I'm never going to be able to say that without saying gay. That's all right, though. It's the happiest gray. I'll tell you what, guys, this is a lot easier and more fun than I thought it would be without Justin, but it is kind of sad not having him around. So I'll probably see if I can't bribe him from time to time to call in or whatever, because that'd just be more fun. But so far, I'm into it. I like Saturday. Could go with a color palette given they're just muted. I could do that. Or a bog witch would. Yeah, I don't know why either. I have, let's see, or a bog witch would be vibrant and full of life, representing the amazing biodiversity in a bog. That's true. Exactly. No, I told him last time because he was busy with stuff from Gamma. I was like, are you seriously not going to be engaged our last episode? And he also wouldn't let me call the episode The End. He was like, we're not gonna clickbait this episode. Like, let me clickbait it. I want to clickbait it. And then I made grumpy faces until he told me he wouldn't go live until I stopped. I kind of wish I would have done a different brown. So I'll probably come back to this staff later because I'm kind of thinking of like an ashy sort of almost dead Deku tree-esque tree color. Like the ancient bark. But we're not going to use ancient bark because we're going to stick to these Pathfinder colors. Here in a minute, I'll show, I forgot I prepared these images. Maybe not, maybe I won't. The thing with adding images with the program I use is that, as you can probably tell, they just pop up on the screen wherever they want, whatever size they want. So sometimes they pop up gigantic. I'm going to have to fix that later. And it drives me crazy, like having to move it real quick. I wish I could alter it, and there probably is some way to alter it before I make it visible. But whatever. So I'll probably do that next time and show pictures of the kit. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, Valander. Yeah, I don't really know how to mod. I shouldn't say that. I'll learn how if there's trouble. I'm a mod on both the Discord and on this, but it's like probably honorary mod because I don't do much. I sometimes give compliments to the mods, like, hey, you did a good job, that must have been hard. Yeah, oh, you're probably right. You're probably right on the, on that one, Karen Stone. Thanks, Atlas 3DSS. This is painting platinum. We're painting Reaper miniatures with Reaper Pathfinder paint. I haven't talked too much about this. And what's kind of exciting about this is that even though I haven't been mixing that long, with most of the MSP colors, I was pumping it. So I was really, really familiar with it for a long time. So I've seen every color. Now with Kit Shop, we see a lot more of the colors that are in the kits than we do the regular, but I still see the colors and I'm like, oh, cool. And it's really nice seeing the new people be like, oh, wow, this is like green. Because I remember that. I remember being like, oh my gosh, this color is so pretty. I love this color, whatever, whatever. So, what's kind of fun but also challenging about this is I don't know these colors like the back of my hand. I know these colors from seeing them in the bottle because I don't think I've had to make any. I don't think people know about this paint as much, but they come in singles and in kits. There's 2 sets, Pathfinder 1, Pathfinder 2. I think, I don't remember which number they go through. What are there, 56? So there's probably 23 in each. Something like that. I'm trying to make a real dark gray. So I used the Besmara Black and Gojra Gray. Yay, I said it. Yes, so Painting Platinum is moving to Saturday. There's always the chance that we could move back, but probably not. I'm probably going to leave it for Saturday just because it was so much grief. All the stuff that would pop up while I was streaming. And it was confusing for people. They'd be like, she's here, but she's not here. I don't understand what this means. Really? See, I don't know that much about Vallejo. I probably should. People have always told me it'd be a good idea to use other paints, but I haven't just because I have so much access to these. Why would I? And then not only that, but before painting miniatures, I really liked Reaper paint. Dave gave me a whole bunch of paint. Like, I think at the time he gave me the whole Pro Paint line. He gave me like a box full of paint pots and Velocithrax, the dragon. So I took it home and I tried to glue it together, but it wouldn't stay because it probably needed to be pinned, and I didn't know anything about that because I was a kid. So I was just like, nah, fuck it, and use the paint for everything else. I would, oh, I hate that LT Floby, and it's something I kind of thought about, and I was really sad about. Before we did Reaper Live the other day, Dave was like, is everything okay? You look like something's wrong. And I was like, I'm just bummed because I know a lot of people won't make it. And he was like, well, new people will make it and it'll give other people an opportunity to see it. So, that's what I've heard. I've heard that the texture is something that some people really love of Reaper paint, about Reaper paints, and some people don't so much. But, so yeah, I'm sure I would be super kind of weirded out by it. It's almost like I do my nails with acrylic, and when I start using a different acrylic powder polymer monomer system, they behave differently, and I'm like, holy lord, like this is so different. Oh, thanks to Hatter. Let's see how many subs. I think we have enough subs to do a giveaway, and I will probably still end at 4:30 just this time, just so I don't just like just, I don't know, burn myself out. I doubt I would, but I don't remember if there's a way to know how many subs I've got. I know I can open it though. Hashtag freezer open. I know we've had like 6 or 7. I think 6 or 7. What's its? Who's its and what's its? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, wait. 5. Bow. Wait. I'm just browsing to see how many subs we have. I'm pretty sure we've got 7. So right now we're doing 1 giveaway. I hate that I can't go all the way to the top of the chat. That's bullshit. Just kidding. Okay. So anyway. Oh, thanks, Soxy. Cool. So now we have 2 giveaways. 8 with Crawly. Okay, 8 with Crawly Hamster. So we're gonna give away 3. Right? 5, 10. Wait. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're gonna give away 3. So we're gonna give away 2 paints and a pokey tool. I believe it's gonna be this and the Barbara pink. It's at first I called it Barbie armor, but that's not what it is because we don't want any trouble. But I painted a shield with it, which I think was why it looked so cool. I painted a shield pink and purple. That's not a super good representation of it. That is closer to it. Kind of a nice shimmery. And then you'll get my, I called it Brinewind Brass or Spyglass Brass, but it's nothing now. Now it's prototype number whatever. Okay, good, T McDuff. I don't have any more purple, but I probably should make it. Down to the red, exactly. Okay, so I kind of tried to make Roots. I think she's going to end up having black hair. I think the gray just wasn't bright enough. So, like, there's rules in color theory. Kind of. But you start with rules. And I think the deal is bright colors look good with bright colors. And muted colors look good with muted. But it can also be different. Like, it can be the opposite. Like, for a while, and I asked Anne about this, and I don't remember what she said, but for a while you were seeing gray with yellow. That's a thing. So yeah. But seeing this gray with this purple and not liking it, I think is because the gray is so muted compared to the skin. I could be wrong. Or I could just be looking at it wrong because it's not finished. I would love to do a special run of the Barbara Pinks. There was a time that we wanted, you might remember the mystery bags, where we were getting rid of all the old discontinued paints in bags of 10 with a special paint. And I offered up the Barbara Pink and purple, and I think it was Ron was like, people don't tend to get that excited about pinks. Which is probably true. But one bright with several muted looks good, but one muted with several brights looks muddy. Great point, Valander. I would really like to see, and I mean, I control it, right? But I would really like this show to have more information on color and art theory as I learn it, because I'm having to learn a lot. So right now, the cool new thing that I've gotten is Ed got me a set of these cups that measure viscosity, and which is really cool. I'm still kind of trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it, because you don't want to use something that's shaken to test viscosity, because it's going to have bubbles in it and it's not going to be correct. But pretty soon I'm going to be checking, thanks for the sub, HQC. Oh yeah, Sea Glow. That was one. Spooky Purple. Um, Spooky Purple was one of my favorites. I've made two samples that look kind of like Drow Nipple Pink. I think that's one of the places I go when I have a color that can be anything. That is the dumbest looking eyes I've ever seen. Nobody look at her. She's not ready. No, no, no. Eyes are hard, guys. I think I'm just gonna have to go back over that with my, uh, what did I use? Karen Stone. I'll tell you what I'm immediately gonna do after is go to one of those websites that you have somebody read a word to you, and I'm gonna have it read. You know what? I think I have the Pet Cemetery audiobook. I can't believe I didn't figure it out. Because I swear that's where I've read that word. Maybe I don't have the audiobook. Maybe I have like the Kindle or whatever version of the book. Uh, yeah. Oh, Rogue Shadow. Okay, so those shadow colors were actually Anne's. Those are some prototypes that Anne left me. And some of them got old enough that we threw them out, but I kept a bottle of each. So I still do have some Anne prototypes. And then Anne was talking about a triad that she invented that was a brown that she was like, maybe I'll send Sadie a swatch, which I would love. I would love an Anne collab. I try not to bother Anne because she has got enough stuff going on. And probably anxiety and pride, I guess. I don't I don't ask for a lot of help. Um Sadie and everyone else, which non-huge figures are you most looking forward to painting? This isn't huge, but it's big. I'm looking forward to painting the busts. I've started one like twice. Let me see if I've got it right here. I don't think I do. Oh, I do. But I have started it a few times. So it's got residual paint on it. One thing I'd like to try, it's actually starting to look like a statue that was like forgotten in a ruin. But I like bigness. I know the Hatter, but it's just not feasible, and they were really old. But the shadow colors were not too old. Not there was Rogue Shadow, Winter Shadow, and Sky Shadow. Those were really pretty. And cool new pinks. I'd love that. But I don't throw things out until they're unusable. Like I wouldn't want people to have them. I think those shadow colors are all liners too, if you have them. I'm pretty sure. I can't be positive, but liner has a smell. The chemical is very like grabby and toothy, and it smells similar to ammonia, but it's not. Francis says you guys should tell each other that you really do want to get ideas from each other. Anne said in her stream how she figured maybe you wouldn't want her to send you ideas since it might be imposing. Now that you were in charge, she didn't want to bother you. No, I would love that. And I would promote it as such because it is kind of cool. I don't know. I'm into it. Like if I bought, yeah, it's a different base medium. If I bought like makeup from a company that was all formulated, I can't really think of an example. like a celebrity makeup line. Maybe like Kat Von D, but it got sold to somebody else. Um, but let's say if I were like a Kat Von D user and then some other celebrity came in and bought it, who would be similar to Kat Von D? Like a Dita Von Teese type came in, and Kat Von D still came in and it was like, oh, this was a Kat Von D inspired whatever. I'd be totally stoked on it. I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, it's still neat and there's different influences and whatever. And honestly, you could probably tell because I'm still in the stage of learning where I just really go for it on whatever I'm learning. So my thing is like high coverage, but it's because I don't paint in the same style as a lot of our artists that use a thinner, and by thinner I don't mean I don't know what I'm saying. Like a more viscous, less viscous. Viscous is thick, less viscous. Oh, the disapproving hand. Jeffree Star. Yeah, exactly. Like if it were Jeffree Star and Kat Von D, I'm sure. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Jeffree Star picks those colors, like has a really good. I don't know how much Kat Von D was involved. I don't know too much about either one of them. To the point that like I watched Jeffree Star for a little bit, and it would be I would have like a couple glasses of wine or whatever at night and watch these videos, and for some reason there was just not a whole lot of clarity. And I thought that Jeffree Star was with Shane Dawson, like they were a couple, and they never were a couple. And when I figured it out, it gave me this like not only surreal, like the world isn't what I thought it was, but I was kind of sad. Yes, so we are gonna have more clears. We've got 3 more clear brights coming out in the Kickstarter fulfillment. We've got the ochre, the red oxide, and I think brown oxide. So with that, you should be able to make pretty much anything. I mean, it's crazy. So if you have the phthalos, red, blue, yellow, magenta, violet, ochre, red oxide, brown oxide, and then a good brown, maybe a couple different browns, a black and a white, you'd be pretty good to go. I recently gave the clear fairy fig a single coat of clear phthalo blue on top, blended up to clear phthalo blue. A coat of clear phthalo blue on top, blended up to clear phthalo blue on top. Now it's gorgeous jade statue inspired me. Oh, clear phthalo green on top. Now looks like gorgeous jade statue inspired me for an entire campaign or novel storyline. I love that. That's neat. Oh, I forgot my move. I wonder if this will work. It didn't really. Not at all. We'll just redo that eye, but we'll see if we can't do the other eye. Because I wasn't too mad at having a eye in the corner. Iris in the corner type look. That little iris is pretty small. Oh, it's not so bad. I was gonna say it gives this look. And I don't remember what the word was, but I feel like I read that there's a Japanese word for the look when you can see the whites around the pupils, like that. Is that doing it? Oh, it's like crazy eyes. I don't remember. I'm really intrigued by the old clears that were discontinued, Plum and Viridian. I'll have to see if I can't dig those up. Um, I have a bunch of discontinued paint. I actually need to dig it up and make sure I'm shaking it because it's part of my swatch project is that I want the discontinued colors in there too. I'm just such a perfectionist. Like, I'm sure some of you are like this, but I'm such a perfectionist, I often don't get that much done. Because I just go back and do it different, do it different. Um, so yeah. Senpaku eyes, probably. That sounds about right. Um, yeah, I'll have to take a look and see how they compare with what we've got going. It might be that we've got something similar. So a lot of times that's what will happen. Is it'll go away and something similar but maybe a little better, more useful will come back. Okay. Lieutenant Floby says, I've never really used liners. What do you use them for shading? Um, oh, Hatter, I love that idea. So liners are good for lining, like going around. I'm trying to think what I lined on the Learn to Paint kits. Oh, I don't remember right now, but they're good primers, especially for bones. Sorry. Jeez. I think I slept too much last night. I've my boyfriend and I are both vaccinated, so I've finally resumed normal life of going to his house. Like literally, there was a long time we didn't see each other. We started seeing each other again, and then around Christmas, it was like COVID was around every corner. People on both sides of my family got it, and people at Reaper all at the same time. Um, Um, has it been hard to make all the Bones 5 paints due to all the orders? RVE put a wrench in it, and so did large paint kit orders, and also this Gamma project we're doing. We're doing a bunch of paint for Gamma. I don't know the logistics behind it, like how it all came to pass, but it ended up for me, like maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. It ended up for me being a RVE type project impromptu. So that set me back a little bit. That being said, we haven't started fulfillment yet, so it's not a huge deal, but I've become like acutely aware that it's around the corner. And yeah, so not real. Like we're keeping up with everything. What sucks is I had a good lead. Like I was really far ahead on Kit Shop, and I've gotten behind again. So it's just a balance. And I'll tell you what, this is something that Anne kind of told me about, and I didn't understand it until I'm in charge, quote unquote. Um, just displays and like old paints, not new formulas. When you give people what they want immediately, which you obviously want to do because you want everybody to be happy. So like this is a good example. Whenever we did the holiday paints and we released them individually, I was like, of course I can do that. Why wouldn't I be able to get, 13 paints out tomorrow? Of course I can do that. But somewhere else is going to suffer. And you don't understand that balance until you've been doing it a long time. And it all gets done. It all buffs out. But it's just kind of how far ahead you can get. Whereas Anne could get really far ahead. I'm not able to because I don't really, I think there's less control in being a newer person. It's more collaborative with Ron and with Ed. So Ed and Ron make a lot of decisions on what, so for ReaperCon, I'll consult with Ron, and for RVE, I consult with Ed, and it's kind of a collaborative deal. And if I want to tilt it in one direction or the other, that's kind of my deal, as long as I don't go too far away from it. There was one kind of debacle where I had to, there was two actually, two or three, where I made a color that was too close to another color with a completely different formula. And what it probably was if you would swatch it and pull it down so you could see the undertones, it would be different. But just looking at it in the bottle, it looked the exact same as another color in the line. So I was like, oh my God, no. So I had to reformulate that real quick. And there was another one that was a scarlet, but when I made the color, it was a rust. Yeah. So I had to I was like, I'm familiar with scarlet enough that I Googled it. And then I was like, oh my God, no. So I had to really quick create something different. Let's see. Was Coal Black a distant leader for the holiday paints selling separate? I would think so. One thing, I really like Golden Glow. I think that's one of Anne's, like, if you would call a color Anne's color, I think Golden Glow would be one of them. And let me think what else. Turkey Brown is really popular. I like Holly Berry a lot. It's a real orangey red. I messed that up. We could probably do a whole episode of me doing these eyes because she's got a tiny little face and a little eye area. I'll figure something out. We'll just leave it blank for next time because I'm not going to get it today. And at some point, I'll fit in the mini that I was working on, and I lost it. I lost it because that's where my little pieces that I secure minis onto. It's sticky tack. But there's a mini I was working on Thursday that's an RVE ginger cookie. That's the one I was trying to think of. Howdy, Albevazen. There's a mini I was working on that was RVE, and it was really cute. It was a little Arcos character, and she had all the she has a shovel and all the building equipment, digging equipment. Santa on vacation, yeah. Lieutenant Floby says you can't estimate effort in a vacuum. You have to figure your current work into your estimate. That's true. And I do get so excited about things. I come up with things, so I'm like, oh, can we do it? But I would like to see the department get ahead because that just makes everybody happy. But it makes me really happy to see all the effort and everything that everyone's been able to do lately. We've got a really good crew. They're just getting after it. No, I didn't. I did not find a slotted base. I mean, I know exactly where to get a slotted base, and I'll probably write myself a little note to do that. But no, I didn't. But yeah, we're probably about to go off the air. Albev is in, but get your hashtag free in. We're giving away 2 packs of paint with a pokey tool. One of the skull pokey tools that I don't have on me, which is how I stabbed myself, is I used this dental tool. So it's been around for a while. I broke it on the side, which is kind of nice for some things, but not so nice with the paint because it tapers up so much. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've got going. But I'm super excited, especially having done a Saturday show, to do the Saturday show, because I feel like it's gonna give give us kind of a leg up, an extra day. Because sometimes sometimes our pumpers do pump things that we need, but we don't need super, super bad. and that kind of sets us back just a little bit, not crazy. Let's see if I can't find a raid for us. Okay. Let's see. And it also, what it does is it gives Justin more time to prepare for, the Wapple stuff. Being a completionist with your paint swatches, including discontinued colors, would be an amazing asset. Whenever you envision a color, you can immediately determine if the color already existed at any point and whether it needs reformulation or not. It can save a lot of time. It already has a recipe. Exactly, Francis. That's what I'm looking for. And when we do these next Brinewind colors, that's what I would like to be able to do for Ron, is to be like, hey, here, more like this. Here are some gaps. Okay, so we're gonna go to Wapple, but Bob Ross is also on. So Wapelius should know that he beat Bob Ross. Let's see. Let's see if I even know how to do that. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna do the drawing. All right, Nomad Zeke, HQC, and Lieutenant Phoebe. Congrats. Did those show up? How do I? Oh, okay. Oops. Okay, there's buttons. Yay. Okay. So, except I don't know what I'm doing. I think I did everything right. There we go. Okay. So, if you want to know what to do when you won, type exclamation point I won something question mark in the chat and it'll get you going. Then let's go to raid channel. Okay, cool. Raid channel. I think I figured it out. Wapel. It doesn't know what I'm doing. Let me see. Let me go back to this other. Wapelius. Maybe I didn't put a P in there. I know this is all wildly exciting. Maybe I need to put an at. Okay. So, yes. So this is painting platinum number 57. Yeah, Valander, I've heard that. I'm sure they will let you know. John had some, I think he had dental surgery actually. Oh, albevazin. It's 2 colors and a pokey tool. Let's see if that shows it. Where is my this thing? Sorry, I'm like all over the place. That is my, it was like either Brinewind brass or spyglass brass is what I called it, but it's a never released color prototype. So I'll do one of those and another color. I think I did the Barbie pink, not Barbie pink. So those are the ones I'm going to give away. And then, okay, let's go back to this. We're going to raid Wapelius, and we're going to see you, I think, Monday with Josh on Miniature Mondays. So, we will see you then. We miss you guys, and love you, and be super safe. Don't be fatigued with the COVID measures. Still be safe and socially distant, and maybe we can get this bead. Like, Seems like we're gonna have a real Reaper live. Jeez. Whew. Thank God. Oh, thanks you guys. Uh yeah, stay out of melee range. Yeah, thanks you guys. I won't burn myself out. I de-burn out really quick because I got a badass job, so turns out. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start this raid. Okay, starting raid. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Spread the Reaper love. We love you. Be safe, have fun. Mwah.